So I want to tell you a story about a bike ride I did a few years ago. So when I was 23 years old, I moved to England for work. I lived in a town called Leeds, which is right in the middle of England. And the surrounding countryside is beautiful. You have the Peak District, you have the Yorkshire Dales National Park, beautiful hiking and cycling. And I chose Leeds for that reason. A few years previous, the Tour de France had started. They had their Grand Départ in Leeds. So I wanted to go and I wanted to experience this awesome city. And I brought my bike with me from Canada, and so I was going to do some biking. And one of my coworkers, Dave, he was also a cyclist. So we had talked earlier in the year saying, hey, yeah, let's go to Leeds and we'll do some bike rides together. So should be fun. So the first week I get there, Dave tells me, hey, I got this awesome route picked out down in the Peak District. Do you wanna join me? So I thought, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. So we load up the bikes into the car and we drive about an hour south into the Peak District. So for those of you who aren't familiar with English geography, the Peak District is this area right in the middle of England. It's not mountainous, but it's hilly. And it's quite hilly. There's reservoirs, there's forests, really good hiking and cycling, and it's pretty quiet there too. Beautiful. So we drive an hour south. Dave parks the car in this little village at the top of a hill. And it's kind of a typical English day, kind of gray, overcast. Was just drizzling kind of as we came in, but nice day for cycling. Not too cold. So we get the bikes out, and I had just bought a new bike. My bike had been stolen recently, so I just bought a new one, knowing that I wanted to do a bunch of cycling when I was overseas in England. And so my bike I just bought, it's a Scott Speedster. So it was like $1,400. It's aluminum, pretty heavy for all the climbing I was going to be doing that summer, but anyway, it got the job done. Now Dave's got this fancy bike. He probably paid like 8 to 10 grand. Like it's a nice bike. It's red Canyon carbon bike with carbon wheels. It's a nice bike. So we get ready and hop on our bikes, and I don't know where I'm going, but Dave does. He's got the route loaded into his Garmin head unit, so I'm just gonna follow him. So he says, yeah, we'll just go up this road, make a few turns, and then we go down this hill. I said, okay, yeah, no problem. So I'm following Dave. We get to the top of the hill, and Dave turns to me and says, see you at the bottom. Now, where I come from, I'm from Brights Grove, Ontario, where it is flat as a pancake. There are no hills where I'm from. The biggest hill is the overpass that goes over the highway. That's it. So that's my experience, is like straight roads, short 50-meter climbs and descents. I'm not very experienced with hills. England, especially the Peak District, is a different story. They don't care how steep the hill is. They will put a road, 20% grade, 25% grade, and turns and switchbacks, and it can be unpredictable. So I'm at the top of the hill. Dave rips down this hill, and you can hear the tires squealing. His carbon wheels make this squealing noise when he hits the brakes. And down he goes, and I start off a little cautiously because I don't know where I'm going, and I've never been down this hill before. So I start off slow, but then the hill gets kind of steeper and steeper and steeper, and so I'm getting on my brakes because I don't want to go too fast, but I'm picking up speed, and I'm on the brakes even more, but I can feel my back tire start to give way because it had just kind of finished spitting, so the road was a little wet, and we were under this tree canopy. So I didn't want to skid out, so I'm like holding the brakes as much as I can, but I don't want to skid. And the road is straight, but up ahead there's this corner, and the road turns to the right, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it. I'm going too fast. I'm going like 50 kilometers an hour downhill on a road bike. skinny tires. And I'm like, I'm not going to make this turn. But there's this little side road off to the left, kind of straight to the left. And I think, I'm not going to make this corner. I'm going to bail to the left and I'll be okay, because it kind of levels out. And everything was just happening so fast. And so I decide, yeah, I'm going to bail to the left. But unfortunately, I didn't turn left enough and I went barreling into this wall. Bam! My front wheel smacks into this dry stone wall. I go flying. My hand hits the wall. My groin and my hips slam into my handlebars. And I'm in complete shock. I've just rode 50 kilometers an hour into a stone wall. Like, what's going on? And so, like, I'm in shock. I climb off my bike. I look down and my hand is bleeding. I've taken a bunch of skin off my knuckles. My head seems to be okay. Obviously, I'm wearing a helmet. Knees seem to be fine. My groin is hurting. My hip is hurting. I checked the bike. The bike seems okay. My handlebars are twisted, but tires still move. And like I seem to be okay, but I'm just trying to walk it off because I'm like, I just hit a stone wall. And so Dave, who was already down the hill, rides back up. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Dave, I just rode into this wall. Like, I'm not okay." So I kind of clean myself up. I use my water, get the blood off my hands. He gets his multi-tool out. He fixes the handlebars, straightens it up. And he's like, "Are you good?" And I'm like, "I guess so." Like, once I'm over the shock, it's like, I guess I'm okay. Like, nothing's broken. Nothing really hurts. Like, yeah, I'm sore, but I guess I'm fine. So keep in mind, I've crashed within the first 3 minutes of our bike ride, and we proceed to then bike for another 2 hours. We did 46 kilometers and over 1,000 meters of climbing. Probably the most epic bike ride I've ever done. Right after I've crashed into a stone wall. So after the week and days after, I was so sore. My hip was killing me. I had to soak in a bath. I could barely walk. My knuckles continued to scab up. Now, what did I learn? I learned it was almost good that this happened to me, because I was going to continue to bike throughout the summer and the fall. And I learned, if you are on a descent that you're unfamiliar with, please take it easy, because you don't know where there's a turn or it gets steeper. Like, just take it easy. Once you know the descent and you want to go faster, fine. But really start off slow. Don't follow your daredevil friend down the descent. Go your own pace. And when you get kicked off your bike and crash, you gotta get back up and keep going. Because, hey, that's what life throws at you. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the story. Thanks for listening.